Development Regional, what I do is I'm just here for you all. Like, I'm here to help you, to love on you, to inspire you, to teach, to coach, to mentor, whatever is necessary to build your organizations. And I know that officially the Northeast region is where I'm actually assigned. But, we end up everywhere. Like, I'll be in Houston next week. I'll be in Florida. I'll be in Chicago. So we kind of move around just based on where the need is and where, 'cause sometimes a need for a fresh voice or a fresh face. One thing I know from being in the industry more years than I'm willing to admit is that sometimes, as a leader, your voice starts to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher to your organization, because you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. And you're like, why can't they get it? Why can't they get it? And then somebody comes in with a fresh voice, a fresh face, says the same thing you've been saying over and over again. And then all of a sudden they grab it. So I'm here to be that other voice. I'm here to be supportive of what it is that you're building, what it is that you're doing, and just excited to be a part of a company like It Works.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a lot of companies that I've been exposed to, and the culture here is flat out phenomenal. It's like nothing I've ever seen in the industry before. To be able to get on stage and talk about your faith and what your beliefs are and not have anybody shut your microphone off,
right,
or tell you what you can't say because of who might be in the room, or to not only ask, who got results with the first, second, or third rap, but who met Jesus as a result of being involved in this opportunity, unheard of in this industry. So I just want to encourage you and remind you that you made a great decision when you chose It Works. From the compensation plan to the culture to, Mark and Cindy Pentecost. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. She sent me a Facebook message the other day that just, almost brought me to tears as she talked about how excited she was that God chose to join me to the mission to help people, to build people and get the word about this company out there. Are you kidding me? It's never happened before. So right place, right time. You've got incredible leadership. Now it's just up to us.
Right, absolutely. And just like you said, like, this is my very first direct sales network marketing business. And I feel the exact same way. I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, we get so much love from our corporate leaders, and they're not untouchable. When you see them, they hug you. They talk to you. It's not like, oh, I've never seen Mark, or I've never talked to Mark ever. Who is he? I heard his name, but I never get to see him physically. Like, he's always making his presence all the time. And it's, I've been in the business long enough, and nothing has changed with them. They're still the same sweet people from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So can you give us a little background information, like, where are you from, and, before It Works, what were you doing before It Works?
Okay. Well, I'm actually calling in today from my home office here in the Maryland area. So I live in Mitchellville, real close to you, Arena.
She's around the corner from me. We're going to have coffee.
Come on over. Bring that tea. Let's do it. I actually have been, like I said, in the industry for a long time. I got started as a single parent mom who was basically trying to feed her kids. Before I got started with the company, I was, the Kool-Aid house, a stay-at-home mom. My husband made good money. We had the cars, the houses, the vacations. But just like a lot of times it happens, sometimes, things happen, bottom line. And I found myself in a position where I had to go back to work just to be able to support my kids. So I was working in a law firm, 40, 50 hours a week sometimes, just trying to keep food on the table. But I remembered when I was 18, I started my first direct sales company. It was Mary Kay. And I was like, dude, I was making some significant money for an 18-year-old at that time. So I was like, well, the industry works, direct sales works. And I was tired of working 50, 60 hours a week in that law firm, sacrificing my family at the altar of my job, giving up my own dream of parenting my own kids in order to support somebody else's dream. And I tell you, there were days where I'd have to fax homework back and forth with my kids because I couldn't get home to them. I had to stay at work because somebody called out or they needed overtime. And I just got sick of it. And I found a company that I could align with, that I believed in the service that they offered, and went out the first day, not even fully understanding what I was doing, made about $1,100 the first day. Now, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I realized if I could make $1,100 on a part-time spare time basis in one day, one afternoon, what could I do if I went full time? And that became my goal. So within 57 days, I had completely replaced my income from that full-time job. 2 months later, I fired my boss, went home to be mother to my kids and build a business on the side as opposed to working full-time and be a parent on the side. Then 3 years, had started earning a six-figure income. A few years later, achieved the Millionaire Club and just never looked back. I was actually with that company for about 15 years. And I guess it's been about 4 years ago, I just kind of faded to black. The company was sold to someone else, and the founder's principles were no longer being espoused. It changed. It became more about the money than the people. And my calling and my heart is about the people first. So I started doing some consulting and, working with some startups, putting together some compensation plans. I am a serial entrepreneur, so I do own other businesses as well. And I'm a minister. I'm an ordained minister. So I do a lot of speaking in that regard. And I just was excited when I heard that It Works was actually looking for someone. Now, here's the thing. I was exposed to It Works years ago, back when the great rap crisis was happening.
So someone blitzed you?
Yes. Yes. Not only did they blitz me, but they actually gave me somebody put the rap on me. What? Someone put the rap on me, and I didn't have any results. So I was like, didn't work for me. Like, what happened? Oh, so here we come around full circle, right? And I'm like, oh, now I get it. I understand. But that's just another reason why you have to really stay close to your leadership, because had that person had the answer for me, had she known to let me know that everybody doesn't get results the first time, that, the first time is a treat, right. Takes 4 times for a treatment, and 12 times is a transformation. Had I known that, my expectation would have been set, so I wouldn't have felt like it didn't work for me. But imagine, I could have been in the field building an organization as opposed to diamond. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Wow. But I love this position because it gives me the ability to really work with people and not be concerned about whose team they're on. You know what I mean? Just to be there and be supported. And so that's what I've been doing up until now. To answer your question, Arena.
So look, I was always curious, how does someone get a corporate job? I mean, like, I would love to work with Mark, like right there with him, get on the phone with him and talk to him time to time, sit with Cammie and other corporate leaders. Like, how does that work?
Well, yeah, really, right? It's networking. It's networking. It's the industry, and it's what we do. It's who do you know that knows someone who's looking for someone like you. They're out there, but they're far and few between. And I tell you, I really hit the jackpot with It Works, though. Like, when I knew of Mark Pentecost, but when I realized that that's who I'd be working with, him and Cammie and Cindy, I was like, this is a godsend. Yeah. Like, this is only God.
Yes, and I'm very pleased about this new role, because when Cammie switched over from being, Black Diamond to the field development leader, I was like, what is this? Like, how is this going to help us? And the great thing about it is because she's been where I am, she knows things that we need, that's going to really help us. And now that she's in this position, she's able to speak for us. She's now our voice. And I think it's because of that, all of these great things have happened in July.
Yes.
Like back-to-back BOGO, like that's unheard of. He's never done that before. Mm-hmm. And for him to bring something back out for the Rubies, August 1st, like, it's just things that we never thought that would happen, but these are great things that's keeping us going and motivating us, keeping the sales up and things like that. So it's a blessing to have you guys here to be a voice for us and to help us grow our business.
Let me tell you something about Cammie, though. Mm-hmm. Do you realize that she prays for each and every one of us every day? Oh. That I talk to her 4, 5, or 6 times a day, and she wants to know who you loved on today. Like what kinds of conversations, what's going on out there? What do we need? How do we help? How do we make sure they have everything they need for success? Like, she is so keyed into, it's never who made how much money. It's like, who needs help, and are we supporting them? Are we there for them? So it's, you know, like even when we create our travel, it's like, well, who else can you see while you're there? Make sure you go early, meet with the leaders, make sure they know we care. Right. So you've got somebody praying for you every single day. So you can't ever say again that you're in this by yourself. You should never feel alone, because you have leadership that has the heart of God for you, for real.
Right. And what blew me away too, you know, speaking of that, is when we have our big conferences, the first of the year, or even green carpet, like we have the worship services.
Mm-hmm.
We got Cindy Pentecost, who's praying over every chair before we arrive, you know. So, you know, Cammie's praying for us, you know, all of our leaders, Cindy's praying for us all the time. So, you know, it's definitely a blessing. This is a very awesome, amazing company, and I'm blessed to be with. I say I will be with Mark Pentecost till he shut the doors. You know, I'm it works lifer forever.
Yeah.
So another thing, what are some of the things that are being implemented, like as far as like trainings or anything to help us grow our business? Like, what do you all have going on right now?
There's a whole lot of stuff that's being there's like a whole training series that's being redeveloped. Now y'all have to remember, I've been here 2 weeks. So literally, this is the beginning of my second week, the end of my second week. Since the 17th of July is when I got started. And so I'm still like learning a lot, depending on you all to kind of keep me in the know on some things. And then by your asking questions, I can get answers. Okay. But I know that there's a total redevelopment happening in training. Mm-hmm. I know that we as the field development reps are going to be doing more online training. So you'll see more like Facebook Lives and that type of thing, designed to help with especially the new person get started. Yes. I know Pam Mercado is working on some more trainings based on some holes that we found in the series, you know, some things that weren't really covered, like either completely or we didn't really touch on, that would be helpful. So it's always kind of growing and morphing. And if you see something that needs to be addressed, or you didn't quite, you know, you wish you had known before you had experienced a certain situation, please make sure you get that information to me so we can address it in that training as well. But the bottom line is repetition is the mother of all learning. And as you watch that video one time, you might get certain things out of it. But the next time you watch it, you'll get something different. And depending on where your mindset is, when you might watch it as a ruby and get one thing, but as a diamond or double diamond, you're going to get something different, because you'll be watching it then not just for yourself, but as looking for a way to train your team with that same information. So I always tell people, like, there's a wealth of information, on YouTube and the E-Suite training. And a lot of times when people ask me questions, I'm like, well, did you look at that video? Because I know I had to, right? Go through it, take notes, not just to know it for myself, but to be able to share the information. And that's how you build leaders. That's how you become a leader and not have to always go to a leader.
Right. And I love that too. I love that they're doing these Facebook Live trainings, especially when after we was able to recruit so many distributors. We recruited over 200,000 new distributors.
240,000.
So how many total distributors do we have now? Because I remember before that it was 200, maybe 200,000. So we're 500,000 maybe.
Yeah, I believe it's just over 500,000. But even more so, we're heading quickly towards that $1 billion mark as a company.
Yes.
And that's powerful. Like, when that happens, you haven't seen anything in terms of what the Pentecost have planned for us.
Look, and speaking of that, where do you see it works in like the next 5 years as far as growth and sales and things like that?
Well, what I believe, in my limited knowledge, this is totally my opinion, not anything I've seen on paper. But with what's coming down the pike, that I would share if I didn't like what I was doing and didn't want to be here next week. But because I love what I do, and being here with each and every one of you, we're going to definitely hit that $1 billion mark. But what's going to happen in the process is you're going to see more people hitting Black Diamond than ever, more ambassadors than ever, just because everything is there. Like, it's already laid out. Now we just have to communicate it in a way that people can grasp it and like really run with it and make it their own. And that's what we're doing out here, crisscrossing the country, to kind of showing people like, look, you can have this. Right. Ambassador is not that far off. No. You know, it's like we're always thinking we need a handout or somebody to help us. Well, the only hand you need is at the end of your sleeve. You've got everything that you need. Now it's time to get rid of all the excuses, get rid of everything else. I love the summertime. You know, most people in network marketing think, you know, July, August, those are the worst months. You know, things don't kick up again until September. Well, they're only going to kick up again in September if you've done what you needed to do in July and August. So by this being August the 1st, we have an opportunity to rewrite history, to use Mark's word to make a legendary impact on our businesses just by just killing it in August. Like, if you are the person who went out and blitzed maybe 2 people a day, you know what? In August, you need to double that, because whatever you do now in August is going to pay off in spades in September. Once the kids get back in school, and those prospects that have been on your list who said, you know what, this isn't the right time, or maybe they were going on vacation and didn't have the money, they're going to be looking for opportunities to create additional income come September when some kids get back in school. And if you are the person who has talked to them, who has been faithful in the prospecting process, if you've stayed connected to them, even though they said no, if you've built a relationship and not just made them feel like a number on your list, then guess what? When they're ready in September, it's going to be you, and you're going to kill it. I mean, this is an opportunity to make December, you know, the end of this year, even more than you ever dreamed at the beginning of the year. It just depends on what you're going to do with August. Most people are on vacation. Most people are chilling. Most people are not even on this call tonight, right? In this whole organization. They're not here. They're distracted, but you're here. So that means that you can now go out there, snatch up market share you wouldn't even have access to were you not focused and engaged. So I just want to encourage you to stay focused. If you're not focused, get focused. Stay firmly on course until you're successful. FOCUS. You can have it. Seriously. Create it in August. Get it all set up. And the end of the year will be bigger than you could ever have imagined.
That's perfect. Another thing too, and this is going back to your network marketing experience, you know, before it works. Mm-hmm. You know, that I can ask you this question. You know, we have a lot of new distributors who came on board in June and easily got, you know, discouraged, they distracted, you know, like you said, summertime is here. Friends and family aren't supporting them like they thought they would, you know, so what advice can you give? I mean, I've talked to, I'm blue in the face. You know, I told them I shared my story, you know, that I came in the company, first network marketing business, went Ambassador Diamond in 9 months, you know, totally focused, you know, until I hit that level, until I was able to retire and, you know, do this full time, you know, but people look at me and Ronessa, maybe Kim Scott and Jennifer Lucy, they look at us like, oh, you guys got it easy. You guys started, you know, at a good time, and it's harder for us. You know, so many people are doing it. It's saturated, this, that, and the other. But it's so many new people that are coming into this business. Elena Conley, you know, that hit the Millionaires Club, and she started a year after me. You know, we got new people that are coming in. Fallon, who started in a year, she was Presidential Diamond, less than a year. You know, so we have people who are coming in after we did, but they're working, you know, they're taking the nose and they still going with it, you know, keep going. They're still talking to people. They're focused, they're driven, they're motivated. So what advice can you give? And I know it's a lot of newbies that's on this call right now. What advice can you give them to tell them just to stay focused and, you know, stay motivated and keep moving?
Yeah. You know, the thing about this industry is it really is about personal development. It is about becoming the person you want to be. And we do have great examples in front of us. But if you pay attention and listen to the stories, you realize that these are everyday people. You know, we look at leaders a lot of times in network marketing and we say, oh, they're just, you know, they're big shots because they have this and they have that. But nobody is really a big shot. Everybody's kind of like a little shot that kept shooting. Right? We just didn't give up. that even when people said no, no doesn't mean it's over. No means next, means you're not the one. And it's okay, because if you're not for me, I don't want you anyway. If I have to convince you to do it, then I'm going to have to convince you to keep doing it. Right. So I'm looking for the ones who are looking for me. And we spend so much time trying to make people who are not looking for us, that the one. It's kind of like when you're playing cards, right? If you're looking for an ace, do you stop at the 2? Do you stop at the 4? Do you take an 8 and try to turn it into an ace, with your pen, your marker? No, you just keep going through until you find the ace. I'm not saying discard people, but I'm saying that if they're not ready, then you put them on your list and you go back through and you touch base with them again later. It may not be the time. Problem is, most often, especially if you're new, then when people say no, you give it a whole nother meaning. No, they don't like me, or, the product doesn't work, or, their aunt's cousin's sister's brother tried this and it didn't work for them. So they said no, so it probably won't work for me either. I had my girlfriend, one of my best friends, we were single parents together, and she had a son who called me mom. My daughters called her mom, and we really worked together in the beginning to build one of our businesses. And I remember her coming to me, and she said, "You know what? It's not for me, and it's not for you either." First of all, how you gonna tell me it's not for me, right? You're not living my life. And she told me, she said, "You're spending too much time away from your kids. You're always running from meeting to this, to that." My kids were fine, right? I already had a plan dealing with my kids. But I looked at her and I said, you have to care a lot about me to have the courage to come and say that. And I appreciate it. But you know what? You don't know what I know. You don't see what I see for my life. All I know is if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm going to keep getting what I've been getting. And it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for my kids. They deserve better. So what that means is I'm going to keep moving forward. If you should choose not to go, it's cool. I'll come back for you. I'm not leaving your life space, but for a season, I have to focus on what's important. I don't want to grocery shop in my mother's kitchen cabinets anymore. I don't want to show up at people's house around dinner time hoping they're going to feed my kids. I need to be able to do it for my own kids. And I remember it was hard, but I couldn't focus on that pain. I had to keep going and keep getting the no's and keep getting people telling me why it wouldn't work. And instead of using it as a reason not to, I used it as a reason why it had to. I used it as fuel to catapult us forward. And once we kind of started making money and, we moved from the 1,500 square foot house to the 8,000 square foot house, that same person came back to me because guess what? She found herself in the same position. She was, her husband left her with 2 kids, no money, nowhere to live. And now she needed my help. What if I had listened to her? What if I had given some type of credence to what she was saying about my life, about my choices? Then what? I couldn't have helped her, and definitely wouldn't have been able to help the masses the way that we've been able to. So remember, when you make a decision for your life, it's a decision for your life. No one else should be able to affect that. No one should be able to change that. And you have to stand up a lot of times by yourself on the outside. But that's why you come into Zooms and you come to One Team, One Missions, and you come to boot camps. You do all of that because you'll be surrounded by people who believe not just in what we're doing, but believe in you too. So borrow our belief, borrow our faith in you until your own kicks in, if it makes sense. And that's the only way you're going to have success here. Don't make excuses. Don't take excuses because they'll stop you. Excuses are tools of incompetence, used to build mountains of nothingness, and those that subscribe to them, they never amount to anything. They're the nails in the coffin of your future. So just no excuses. Live that lifestyle.
Amen. That's absolutely correct. I mean, I've been through it myself.
Every leader has. Every single person who's done anything great has had people tell them why it wouldn't work. Why would this be any different?
You're right. Hope you all are listening to this. Another thing too, professional development.
I see you, Jill.
See Jill?
I've known Jill for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, Jill. We love Jill. Mm-hmm. Personal development books. Do you do a lot of reading? what do you suggest as far as personal development? What are your favorites?
If you're new to the industry, there's a book by Mark and Renee Yarnell called Your First Year in Network Marketing. Ignore the compensation conversation, but it will help you develop the mindset and the attitude that's necessary for success. Here's the thing, 90% of the stuff that we go through, someone's already been through and wrote a book about it. And rather than take the long way around and figure it out for yourself, just go get the book, read it, and then apply what you read there. John Maxwell wrote a book called Failing Forward. So a lot of times we don't step out, we don't do what we need to do because we're afraid of failure. Well, if you realize, and they used to say, Raina, I think you probably remember this, they used to say that the average successful business owner went through 7 businesses before they were successful. That number is up to about 13 now. If the statistic keeps changing. But we don't have to be a part of that statistic because we already, Mark has done it for us. He's been through the different businesses and been able to, and then turn around and created a business where everybody can win. So Failing Forward is a really good book. If rejection is a problem, there's a book called If They Say No, Just Say Next. If they say no, just say next, because it'll help you. I used to think when people said, so what, some will, some won't, so what next? I used to think that was mean, right? I used to think it was mean to just like count people out. So I always say some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting. And now we can go find the people who are waiting for us, the people who are looking for us, the people who God has created favor for us with them so that they'll hear us. So that was a really good book. And then John Maxwell wrote another book called Running with the Giants. And in this book, he talks about what the Old Testament heroes want you to know about leadership. And he literally talks about, Noah and Moses and their leadership styles and what we can learn from them and apply it to our lives. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be doing a live book study like Mary Beth did the one on Chasing the Lion or Chase the Lion. We're each going to be doing one of those. And I'm thinking I'm going to use that book to do it. But that's a good book as well. There's so many out there. Of course, the classics, Think and Grow Rich, if you haven't read it. And if you have, then read Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Pick that one up as well. And if, I tend to do better with books in my hand than Audible, but I do still I'll listen to a book on Audible and read it at the same time, especially if you want it to really get inside.
Right.
And if you want to retain what you read there, share it with someone else. Do it with someone else in a conversational kind of a way, but hold each other accountable. You should be reading at least 10 pages of a good book every single day of your life.
What about our introverts, our shy folks? We got a lot of shy distributors, even triple diamonds, presidentials, and ambassadors who are afraid.
Irena, I'm probably the shyest person you will ever meet.
Okay, well, perfect. What's some tips that you can share for our shy folks? I mean, they're like terrified to talk. They're terrified to talk to people about the business. They don't want to approach anybody. They're scared to do training calls or anything like that to run and help their business. Like, what tips can you, share with our introvert shy folks?
Well, what helped me, I'm an only child raised by a single parent mom. So I spent a lot of time by myself. From the time I was 8 years old, I took care of myself while my mother worked 2 jobs. And I love me some me, right? But when I realized what I was created to do, my why for being created, what God had in mind, shy didn't serve that. So I have to set shy aside because it's not about me. Now, I can be selfish and take all of the stuff that God has given me and just keep it and hoard it for myself. That's what shy would do. But because I believe that what he's put inside me can help somebody else, right. I believe that, our products, our service, our opportunity will help other people. I have a responsibility to share that. I have a responsibility to go out there and realize if I bring to you, a pack of wraps and I say, hey, this is awesome. You need to use this and it's going to tighten, tone, and firm. It's going to help you with those problem areas. And you say, I don't want no wraps. That wasn't my rejection. That's not personal. We have to take our heart off our sleeves and realize that most of the time, even people who are really rude and not nice, it has nothing to do with us. That's all about them. So why are we taking on other people's baggage? Why are we giving people our power by allowing them to stop us by their response or their reaction? It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about those people that you were created to serve, to be there for, to share information with, to impact their lives. So you have a story to tell. Get out of your own way and tell a story. It's just really that simple. Now, of course, I've been doing this for a while now. But at the very beginning, you know how I got in front of the room the first time? I walked in and they were like, great, you're dressed, you're presenting. I didn't ask for that, but because I respected my leadership and I realized the person in front of the room made the most money, it's like, okay, let me just do it. And I did it and I messed it up. I was hyperventilating. It was horrible. And I remember because she said, you know what, just sit down, let me do this. Like in front of everybody, she said that.
I think we all been through that.
Yes. But you know what? The difference, Arena, is that some people quit. You insulted me, you embarrassed me. That'll never happen again. No, what would never happen again is you tell me that I'm not good enough to present what I already know to be fact to some people.
There you go.
So, encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Remember who you are. And one of the things I had to do to get clear and get strong in that was I had to take my Bible and I had to study what God said about me. Genesis 1:26, he said that he made me good. So if I'm good, how dare I act like any other way or allow anybody to tell me anything different? So a lot of times we just have to rehearse what we know he's already said about us. And that's what you carry. That's what you carry, not the negative thoughts, the things that people said that didn't mean you any good about you.
Absolutely. I love that. Just two more questions and we're going to let you go. Oh, I know you've been on it for just 2 weeks, but do you know if we're opening up any other new countries soon? Products?
Yes and yes.
We're excited about it. What
yes,
about
yes, and I will as soon as I'm able. I'll let you
You'll
in.
share. Thank you. Okay, so what should we expect at conference 2018? And all the people who have never gone to conference, you gotta go. You gotta go. So can you tell? I know you haven't been, Katrina, but I know you've heard about it. I know you probably know what's happening in 2018 conference.
I don't know that. I don't know that yet. I don't know that.
We can talk about that over coffee.
Right.
But you know what?
I want to, and what I would like to see happen is more people come to more events.
Yes.
Events are the lifeline of your business. It's a way to bring your team around the fire so that everybody leaves smoking hot. So it's like, if you find that you're out here and you're feeling alone and, maybe your team isn't doing what they need to do, you're not getting them to enough team events. Like whether it's a team training or a one team, one mission, it makes my skin crawl when I hear people say, oh, I went to the one last month. Well, did you just go to church once last month? Why do you go to church every week? Right. You go to church because you need to be around people who will encourage you and inspire you in the thing that you've decided to believe, to be a part of. And it's the same thing with your businesses. One of my missions is I want to see more consistent events happening throughout the region. Like there should be at least a one team, one mission every week. And somebody should be having a wrap party and inviting people to bring their guests at least every week. And then every quarter, we need to have a mini boot camp. Why? Because the power of the raw numbers of watching it grow, not just for you, but for other people, it just raises your belief. It will carry you from event to event to event. A lot of times people who don't go to events, they don't last. They don't stay around very long. The weekly calls, the regular Zooms, the Facebook Lives, you have to plug in with someone. Don't just do it by yourself. Plug in with someone or tell somebody, I'm going to do it. You watch it too. And let's talk about it afterward, because you got to keep people connected. You got to stay connected. It's the connection that people are after, and not just to the business. It's easy to leave a business. It's hard to leave a friend, right? It's hard to leave family. So we have to connect with people on that level. And at the big event, like I'm telling you, the green carpet, that's the reason I'm here. Like all the other conversations, everything that happened around it, you know, knowing Mike Patillo or hearing about him from people that I knew, all of that stuff was great. But once I got to green carpet and I saw, and I got to talk to the leaders, to rub shoulders with them, to realize, you know, to ask questions like, well, how long have you been involved and how's it gone for you? And they can't even imagine, you know, doing anything else ever. No complaints. Nobody was, you know, moaning and complaining about anything in the back corner. And then I get to sit down with Mike and Cindy Pentecost, and, you know, they're more concerned about my relationship with God than, you know, what I know in the industry. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, it's people who care about you genuinely. Yeah. You've got to be around that. If you don't have it, that's where you go get it, right? That's where you learn it. Those are the people you want to emulate. Associations are everything. And at the big events, that's where you get that. Remember this, not you hang around 9 broke people, you're bound to be the 10th. But you hang around 9 wealthy people, guess what? You're also bound to be the 10th. So you got to, some, you know, your income is the average of your 5 closest friends. And when I realized that, I realized I needed some new friends. And I got some new friends, and things started to change in my life. You're not going to find those in your dining room. You're not going to find them wherever it is that you've been hanging out. You'll find those people at the events, especially the big events. So you got to be there. Please get registered. We need great numbers at definitely in Kansas City, right? Are we talking about Kansas City first, right, Arena?
We got the boot camp that's coming out in Kansas City, but we're actually planning a boot camp for DC. But we're working on it. Vanessa's working on it. So she's trying to get everything done. I think it's going to be in September. So of course you'll know. And
let me know ASAP, because I've been talking to Mark and to Mike about getting us corporate support for a huge event in this market. And he was telling me about the numbers that we need. But
well, you'll definitely know. We just had a leadership Zoom with Vanessa last night. Well, no, early yesterday, and she brought that up. So she said she got to get with Mike Patillo. So you'll know some way, somehow, once it's all done and what day it's going to be. So look forward to the boot camp. And the boot camps are good because they're business opportunity where you can bring guests, and then we also have the training that you guys need, you know, to help you grow your business. Lots of tips from great leaders. So that's going to be a really great one because we've never had a boot camp here.
Wow.
So we look forward to that. We've always had one team, one missions, but we've never had a boot camp. So that's
not even a mini boot camp?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay.
So we look forward to that. But again, I appreciate everything. I mean, you were preaching tonight. Everything that you said was absolutely true. Couldn't have said it better myself. We appreciate you having being on this call tonight. And we are excited to have you. You know, your support and your guidance and all the information that you share with us. We look forward to, you know, working with you more in the future. Hopefully you can come to our training that's on August 20th. I'll send you the information.
Please. If
you can just pop in if you can, if you're not too busy. But we would
absolutely
love to have you. We'd definitely love to have you. Any last words of encouragement or for these fine young amazing leaders and distributors that are on this call tonight?
You know, success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal, right? That's the definition of success. And when you look at your leadership, you see that. You see the consistency, you see them moving through the ranks, and then even turning, you know, not turning around, going backwards, but reaching back to help each and every one of you have that same success or even greater. And I just want to encourage you, don't allow the voice of your leaders to become like Charlie Brown's teachers. You know, it takes work, it takes focus, it takes really, you have to work to not be casual about the level of leadership that you have. You have some great men and women that are leading you. And I want to encourage you just to be open, to be coachable. You know, it's okay to be a copycat as long as you're copying the right cats and you've got the right cats. So let's make August legendary. Let's make this area what the entire company is talking about as a result of what comes out of August and then into September. I'm telling you, if you've never had a Christmas where you've paid for everything in cash, right? I'm a single parent mom getting her kids everything she wants for Christmas, what they want for Christmas, and having no debt come January. That's the type of goal you want, the thing that gives you fire, that makes you focus on the reason why you're doing this in the first place. I see that little baby over there. As a heart psych-heart, I'm like, oh, hey. But seriously, like, you just don't take it for granted what you have in your hands, what's available to you in a company and an opportunity and in your leadership. And I look forward to anything I can do to help any of you. I mean, find me on Facebook, message me, call me, text me, whatever is necessary. Let's get it done.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. So you guys, if you're following Katrina, please show her some love, tell her thank you for joining the call. We're going to get a picture. I want everybody to smile. So I can
Wait, me too.
1, 2, 3. We always got to have a photo op, right?
Right. Truly. How do we get those? I want these chats because I need to reach out to some people from this chat. The chat on the side. Can you save that, Arena, and send it to me?
And they also, someone asked, can you come to the West Coast?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. What's the event?
I don't know.
Give me the details.
One of my West Coast DTs wants you to come out, so I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be something going on out the West Coast.
Yeah, definitely.
People are crying. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate
my Vegas distributor say she wants you to come to Vegas.
Yes. Georgia in October. What's happening? I think someone called me about that. Yep. Just message me with the date, the event, and we'll see what we can make happen. I appreciate
it. Oh, yeah, I can save it. So I saved the chat, so I can send it to you.
Okay. Well, excellent.
Again,
thanks for having me, Arena.
Love you so much.
Love you too.
And we'll talk soon. I'll give you the information about the mini boot camp when that comes up.
Okay.
And thank you all for joining us. Again, show her some love. Let her know that, you really appreciate her on the call. She gave us some good information, very inspiring. So again, I've recorded it too. So I'll share it in the group so the guys can hear it again and let your distributors hear who missed it. Again, Thanks again, everyone. Good night.
Good night.